When it comes to product marketing, storytelling can be a really effective way to communicate your brand's core message. Brands also use storytelling to sell a product, entertain their audience, educate the market about a new product or service, or highlight an achievement or landmark. Essentially, though narrative styles will vary from company to company, most will turn to storytelling to bring concepts to life and make complex messages easier to understand. There are two key terms to consider when crafting a straightforward and impactful product story: product narrative and launch story. These stories might overlap or relate to each other, but these narrative styles achieve two different things. For one, a product narrative communicates how you can fulfill customer needs and drive their desire to purchase your product. Your launch story, on the other hand, focuses on how your product or service was created. Sometimes this can include multiple stories and focus on your experiences in the build-up to your product's release. Understanding each narrative form's different outcomes allows you to craft succinct stories. But let's look more closely at the why of stories. First of all, stories are easy to remember. People are much more likely to remember something they're emotionally invested in. Let's look at two examples. Our email automation tool generates real-time reports. With real-time reports, you can quickly uncover and act on emerging trends. The latter is instantly more impactful because it uses you language. There's something in it for the user, making it more memorable. As we said earlier, stories can simplify complex concepts. Stories cut through jargon and present the facts that matter: how the product benefits the user. They make complex or technical products easier to understand and more relatable. Stories unite your audience. Regardless of background, your market and target audience share pain points and aligned end goals. A solid story makes every prospect feel that emotion and understand what's in it for them. Stories inspire action. By showing potential outcomes, stories entice people to take action. A clear story helps customers visualize benefits, motivating them to engage with your brand or product. Remember, storytelling isn't about your company or product. It's about your customers and what they get from choosing you. What about the actual science behind storytelling? So, relating a good story is an art, but it's also a science. Paul J. Zak, founder and chief immersion officer at Immersion Neuroscience, explains the science behind why you or your brain love good storytelling. In subsequent studies, we have deepened our understanding of why stories motivate voluntary cooperation. We discovered that to motivate a desire to help others, a story must first sustain attention, a scarce resource in the brain, by developing tension during the narrative. If the story is able to create that tension, then it is likely that attentive viewers, listeners will come to share the emotions of the characters in it, and after it ends, they are likely to continue mimicking the feelings and behaviors of those characters. This phenomenon is often referred to as neural coupling, where the brain hears or sees a story and its neurons begin to fire in the exact same pattern as the speaker or character's brain. The research also showed that storytelling releases oxytocin and cortisol, enhancing engagement and cooperation. Based on those findings, we see that customer behavior depends on how and who tells a story. Leveraging storytelling for product marketing can be useful in that it helps customers understand and relate to your product or brand. In short, a good and convincing story could ultimately impact customers' purchasing behavior and decision-making process. So here's a recipe for really good product storytelling. Sure, we like brevity and getting to the point, but that shouldn't stop a good story from taking its time to reach its full potential. A good story has a compelling start to hook your interest, the right amount of suspense in the middle to keep you going, and an end you will remember. Let's look into a good story framework and map it to the buyer's journey. Discover and learn. In the discover and learn phase, understand your customers' pain points and speak their language. When we narrate our story to customers and users, we need to be mindful of our customers' time and effort. We need to introduce new users to the company and technology, and also find out why they signed up in the first place. Simply show them you care. Try and buy. Would you trust a transparent company that knows its core strengths and weaknesses and is self-aware, or one that shows only the best capabilities and how great they are? In the try and buy phases, help your customers see the real world of possibilities with the platform and help them achieve their vision. Remember, it's always important to have an understanding of what the platform or technology will not do, just as much as all the cool things it will do. So to gain customers' trust in your product, act more like a trusted advisor than a vendor, which can lead to churn when the promise that got the sale isn't fulfilled. Advocate. Your customers are your best advocates, so you need to help them tell their stories at user groups, events, and customer programs. Think about your own experiences. When you write a review, do you immediately think about your negative experiences or the positive ones? In the advocate phase, provide opportunities for customers and partners to share their stories everywhere. More often than not, customers appreciate honesty and that companies are looking out for them and aren't just in it for revenue. Now that is true customer lifetime value. So make them the heroes, not your product or your company. There you have it. Hopefully you've got an idea of just how valuable a good story is when selling a product. In our next video, we'll explore product-led stories and how they drive user acquisition. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.